get asked a lot, how do I adapt a cleaning routine to my disability or my limitation? And I get it, I really do. And the reason why I get it is because I have two autoimmune conditions, one of which involves severe arthritis. So I have to adapt things to my situation as well. Today, I'm going to share with you some ideas of how to make a cleaning routine work for you when you're struggling with a physical or health issue that limits your energy and your ability. My name is Katie Berry. I'm a cleaning expert, an author, and a blogger. And for over 12 years, I've been helping millions of people around the world with my blog and my books to get their home under control. Today, I want to start helping you. If you're dealing with physical or mental health issues that limit your ability or your energy in keeping your home clean, it can feel like everybody else knows a secret that you don't. And trying to follow a cleaning routine can feel like a frustrating situation that you'll never get ahead of. The first thing I want to talk about is how clean does your home need to be? Spotlessness is not the standard. A home should be homey. It should be a comfortable place where everybody who lives there can be themselves. And sometimes that includes being messy. We have a tendency to overcompensate sometimes, where we almost feel like we need to apologize to our family for not being standard abled. And the reality is that that leads us to harm ourselves in the process, because we'll push ourselves past the point where we should to keep going to attain an end result that might not be realistic for our lives, and nobody really expects of us, or if they do, they really have no right to. To some extent, it's that whole trope about the plucky disabled person or the plucky person dealing with a long-term illness. We idolize and almost romanticize people who, despite having these limitations, push themselves and, she was not feeling well, but boy, she kept a spotless house. Have you ever heard anybody say anything like that? Of course not, because that's not what people remember about you. And that needs to be something that you don't try to force yourself to achieve. And the reality is that trying to accomplish that, trying to live up to a standard that's not ours, leads us to harm ourselves in the long run. And when we harm ourselves in the long run, we damage our health, but we also damage our relationships, because the bitterness, the resentment comes out in other ways. So if you have been trying to push yourself to live up to a cleaning routine or follow a cleaning routine without adapting it to your particular situation, then you have been pushing yourself to live up to a standard that doesn't even apply to your life. Don't adapt your life or your energy to fit somebody else's routine. So you need to pace yourself. Only you know how much energy you wake up with on any given day. You need to work with the energy that you wake up with, and don't always plan ahead. Oh, I'm going to do the kitchen today. I'm going to do the bathroom tomorrow. The day after that, I'm going to do the bedroom, because you don't know the day after tomorrow how much energy you're going to have. So when you're looking at somebody else's cleaning routine, ask yourself realistically, can I do this all in one day? And then ask, why do I feel like I should? Because these cleaning checklists or cleaning routines, they're not assignments. They're just an order in which to accomplish things. You're not running a race. You're not going to achieve a clean home and then never have to do it again. It's a marathon, and there's not a trophy at the end. You know what you get to do at the end? You get to do it again and again and again. And that's why it's important to keep cleaning your house in perspective, because it is not a one-time thing. It's just a part of your day. So you have to decide every morning what are the things that are most important for you to clean. And it is always the same three things that need to be checked first: the places of comfort, the places of food preparation, and the private areas like bathrooms and bedrooms. All right? We do it in that order. It's like I've said before, the place where you go at the end of the day to unwind and relax. That is the spot where you are going to regain your energy to keep going. Once you've cleaned your happy spot, the place where you regroup at the end of the day, the next place that you move on to is cleaning the common areas. And of those common areas, focus on cleaning the food preparation surfaces. That will protect you from foodborne illness, and it will protect your home from attracting pests. Then the next place to deal with is not the living room. That's not nearly as important as the bathrooms. It has to deal with bacteria and protecting your health from some harmful pathogens that can make you very ill. It's triage, basically. You are going to take care of yourself, Then you're going to take care of the next most urgent thing, which is making sure nobody gets foodborne illness. And the third thing is going to make sure nobody gets things like staph or strep infections from coming into contact with filthy bathroom surfaces. So there are going to be days when you wake up and you don't have the energy to do anything more than, make sure that your spot where you're going to sit is clean. And that's just going to happen. And if you know that you are on a low energy cycle, at least for me with my situation, I will get to the point where I can feel myself starting to wear out. And I know I'm going to have a few days where I'm not going to be accomplishing much at all. When those days come along, have some low energy tasks that you can accomplish, but that aren't draining. And it's good to have a list of these and just keep a running tally of these are the ones I've done lately so that you can work your way through the list on those low energy days. For instance, on my low energy days, if my hands can handle a knife at the time, I will sit down at the kitchen table and watch TV and prep vegetables for the week. I hate to iron on any day, ever. But on my low energy days, I will put that ironing board in front of my recliner and I will lower it down and I will iron clothes while I'm watching TV. I don't have to get up. I don't have to walk around, but I can actually get the ironing out of the way. And at least at the end of the day, I feel good about having accomplished something. So have a list, sit down, make one up for your own home of the things that you can do on days that you have low energy that don't require a lot of activity or a lot of motion. And then when those low energy days strike, sit down and work through something on the list. You don't have to do them all. You can just do one, but cross it off your list as you accomplish it. Then at the end of the day, you won't have physically pushed yourself to accomplish more than your body is ready to handle, but you will mentally feel better for having done something, and you won't do that thing that we tend to do when we have a disability of trying to push ourselves further the next day to make up for having taken a day off. Because the reality is you don't have to earn sitting down and taking a break. You don't owe it to anybody to push yourself. That's just something that you have placed on yourself, and it's time to take that burden off of you. I would say this fifth point to anybody, whether they have a physical disability or not. Don't try to seek a spotless home. Having a spotless home is not a goal. It is not realistic. People live in homes and they make messes. And unless you want to force everybody in your family, including yourself, to move out, you're not going to have a spotless home. So cut yourself some slack on that and realize that whether your home is spotless or messy has nothing to do with who you are. You do not need to earn your rest. You do not need to earn the permission to take care of yourself or to tune in to how much energy you have in a given day. If you want to clean your house, take a routine and adapt it to the ability that you have on any particular day. Be flexible, cut yourself slack, and allow yourself to have low energy days. If you still want to be productive on those low energy days, have a list of things that you can accomplish that don't take a lot out of you. And if you accomplish them, pat yourself on the back. Don't hurt yourself doing that. If you can't accomplish them, that's okay too, because your home has nothing to do with who you are. If you learned something new in this, I want you to do me a favor, hit like, or if you just want to make my day, hit like. Thank you. I'll see you next week. You don't have to earn your rest.